E aí pessoal, tudo bom? Nós estamos aqui com o Jeffrey do NPM. Ele fez uma talk muito legal pra gente falando da infraestrutura de serviço deles e como as APIs se comunicam, e a gente tem algumas perguntinhas para fazer aí para ele, para entender mais coisas sobre o NPM. Provavelmente tá todo mundo muito curioso para saber aí. Hi Jeffrey, how are you?
All right, how are you?
Nice. Good talk. Everyone liked good slides and an RPG and a book-like presentation. There is some stuff that I'm very curious to know about NPM, and something that crazed me about infrastructure is that it's made from a lot of software, and I would like to know what was the most complicated thing to handle in this infrastructure.
So there are a couple things that are difficult about having a set of infrastructure like NPMs, and one of the most difficult things I honestly think is our team is really distributed.
Yeah.
It's really distributed. So at some point, getting everybody on the same page and moving forward a similar direction and having the product planning laid out, that's, I feel like, maybe the most complicated part is making sure that everybody can work together as fast as possible, because we have so many users and we have to respond to things while simultaneously coming out with new features so quickly, and there's like a dozen engineers in NPM. There's only, we have fewer than 15 engineers.
Whoa!
So nobody knows that.
That's a small team.
Yeah, so we don't have a big team, and so we have all of that coming through, and I find that to be the most difficult. Software-wise, we're all getting the microservices in the correct place and letting, like, architecting is I think the strongest part.
Yeah. And what about building the interfaces? Probably the team was working asynchronously on different parts of the software. What about getting to a contract between the services?
So, luckily, at this point, a lot of it is prior art, as you would say. It's we have so much of it where you when you're building out a new service, you know how all of the other services act. We have the saying, it quacks. They all quack the same.
Yes.
So we've worked on having interfaces that are very similar and restful and follow a very specific formula to how the URLs are and all the routes, etc. But the big key for getting any of this stuff through is that when we are planning for things, we have an RFC process. That's where somebody will write out what they're building, why they're building it, what problems it solves, and how they intend on building it. And then we submit that, and a day later everybody starts to kick in with opinions and how they feel like it could be better, or whether or not this service is needed at all, and maybe we could tune up something else, which is always a relief because we have so much shit to build. So, and the RFC process really helps smooth out how we deal with that stuff. We spend so much time reviewing code and reviewing each other's written and intentioned work beforehand to make sure we don't have to rewrite things.
That's really cool. And you said that the team was distributed, right? What platforms are you using to build software? GitHub, what project management tools?
So GitHub is pretty much our primary way of handling projects. We run the projects, the milestones, issues through cross-reference through repos. That's our main for code-based things. And then everything else is transmitted through Slack. All of our RFCs are through Slack, all of our conversations, anything that was an in-air conversation is immediately put in Slack. So it's just those two tools, really, and then the code. But
this is really cool. I was praised about it's a lot of software to build, and there are a lot of proxies that going on, and I would like to know about these proxies. It was a good idea, it does work, and how it performs in the day-to-day.
So it performs really well. That part's good. The use of them became like a pretty consistent pattern for us at some point when we realized that authentication treating it as a separate system was way more beneficial for us because we could swap out auth systems and keep the API the same if we had it over a proxy. And therefore, creating a proxy system allowed us to go, okay, well, pop this in front and be done.
Right.
And so the performance-wise, especially if you have like Nginx handling your proxies, it's so fast. It's like you don't think about it.
Right, nice. And the last question, it's all done on Node, wrote on Node.js. Every service was built on Node.
So everything at NPM is built on Node except for our metric system. Our metric system is actually in Rust.
Rust?
Yeah, we have. At some point, Node became a bit of a bottleneck when we were having, so every publish, every unpublish, every install, every like user account movement is all processed through our metric system. And so it's tens of millions of events and tens of millions of events. Rust tended to be, or like writing in something to use less memory was a bigger deal. We could run it on Node, but the boxes would have to be huge. So to save some money, rewrite it
going to Rust. And how was the experience of JavaScript developers working with Rust?
I love that language. It's so nice. I know how to write C, but I don't like to do it.
No one likes.
Because I'm terrible. I'm just terrible. I'm a terrible C writer and I'm a terrible C++ writer. There's always memory errors or leaks or something. And then I find a month later, Rust tends to catch all of those. Right. I tend to write software that's better with it just because its compiler yells all the time, like, you're a shitty programmer, except nicely. And then I'm like, I am. Okay.
This is really cool. Thanks for asking questions and participating on our video.
Hey, no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.